Hi everyone, it's Natasha. I know, a long time no see, but I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've been doing since we've been, homeside, hanging at home, more so than usual for most everyone. I have worked from home for the last 18 years. My husband is an essential worker who works outside of the house, so we're doing everything we can to keep things as sane as possible with what we have available. And one of the wonderful things that I'm thankful for is HAMAMA greens. I store my seed mats in a stand-up plastic file folder file. It's very easy. And I love variety, so I have my current 3 trays seeded with half mat of each of the following varieties. I have Daikon and Broccoli, Wasabi and Kale, and Arugula, which is an old retired one that I've had in my stash. Don't come at me, they're sourcing out a organic version of the seeds, and the red cabbage. So let me share with you. These were started, let's see, on the 13th. So this is what they look like on the 13th. Of April. So it is 5 days later. So let's take a closer look, and I'll share with you my little trick of keeping track of them. Oop, let's not crush those little babies. So these are the Daikon Radish, and they are a lovely, peppery, juicy, crisp addition to anything you add them to. They do germinate in 4 to 5 days, so it's perfect for the peel. And they mature at 7 days. So talk about pretty quick. And they're fresh. You grew them in your own kitchen. So as you could see, the top layer, so essentially, for those of you who are not familiar with HAMAMA, and I'll include a link to their site below, it is the easiest way to grow microgreens at home. It is a base that you fill with water up to the fill line, right there. And then you place your mat in. So there's a couple of tips and tricks that I do. As you could see, I like variety. You could do a whole mat, which is what those are, or you could cut them in half or quarters, whichever is your preference if you want the variety. I like the half and half, so I have 6 different varieties in about 10 days. And all you do is you pop in the mat, which comes with a cocoa core. Look at that beautiful white roots underneath. So you place that in the water, and what I typically do is I place the seed mat down first, 10 maybe 15 minutes, and then I put it with the core, with the cocoa core down and the seed mat on top, and that's really to ensure that the seed mat receives sufficient moisture to kind of activate it. And the reason there's a top layer, it works similarly to what when you sow seeds in your garden, that you will put a topsoil over it. So what it's making the seeds do is germinate, and it helps them grow stronger to have a little resistance rather than just sprinkling them out in the open. And it keeps any animals out who you don't want to eat your harvest before you're ready to pick it. So then in the germination time, so this one is, the Daikon is 4 to 5 days. The broccoli is also 4 to 5 days. Once the seeds germinate, you are ready to peel the top layer, which is what I'm doing right now. You could lose a seed or 2 here and there. I'm not that worried about it. If you want it to, if it's really stuck on and you want it to come off easier, I would recommend just grabbing a spray bottle filled with water, regular tap water, and just spritzing it. What it does is it moistens the top layer. Look at that. So since the top layer has been pulled off now, they're ready. It's the equivalent of being out of blackout. So if you've grown microseeds at all on your own without this super easy mat, you put them initially into blackout because you want all of the energy to go to germinating, growing the seed, not to turning it green. So now you can introduce photosynthesis, light. I have my stovetop light source, but I do have grow light that I pop them under, and now they can grow tall and turn green. So here's Daikon and Broccoli. Let me move those aside and I can show you the others. So both of these were ready to peel, and I will peel the rest off camera. So the next are Wasabi and Kale. Now, Wasabi has the longest germination of all of the varieties that I'm growing at the moment, and that's 5 to 7 days, and even these little beauties have poked out. And this is a relatively new mat. It was just added, I want to say, about a month ago. So, look at that. Look at these beauties. I mean, come on. This is not only food, it's also fun. You see all those root system developing beautifully and growing, reaching for the water source. So this is kale. I'm gonna leave this on maybe a little longer before I peel. Let me move that aside and show you. And kale is 5 to 6 day germination. And this is arugula and the red cabbage. And I know the cabbage is ready to come up because look at that. Look at how easy is that? I mean, look at 3 seeds. I'm not gonna cry over 3 seeds. But this grows to be such a beautiful little crop. It's beautiful, it's tasty, it's very... moist is not the word I want to use because it's not one of those words people like. It's very juicy. And arugula, oh, it's lovely. It's peppery, it's delicious. So see how some of this is just ever so slightly sticking? I might spray just a little more. Well, no, it should be okay. And the mat will tell you when it's ready to peel. Because I had all these little renegades popping up. Who was just saying renegade as I said that? See that little renegade that's ready to pop up? So I'm going to free him or her. Let's not be gender biased. And look at that. All of that beauty. So in a few days, this will fill out. And again, because they do have slightly different germination times, and all of these are harvesting at 10 days. And we'll take a peek again and we'll see how they're doing. You can let them go longer. The only thing about microgreens to keep in mind, if you're unfamiliar, the initial set of leaves, these 2 little leaves that appear first, that is not the true leaf. The true leaf is the second set of leaves. Typically, microgreens are harvested and consumed at the first 2 leaves. But as they grow taller and become vibrant, you know, not at this stage. This is just fun to watch. Once they develop the second set of leaves, which is called the true leaf, they could become much more potent. So whatever the flavor is of the microgreen, so the daikon, the broccoli, arugula, cabbage, wasabi, kale, all those, it might become more pronounced than you would anticipate or you would want from a microgreen. So microgreens are packed with nutrients, and the volume that you would need to eat of the actual vegetable when it's grown to full size is so much more than you can get out of the microgreen. So they're kind of like the superfood, like literally the superfood, because they're so packed full of nutrients in the little bit. They're tiny little spindly legs. So they're lovely in juicing and some of these even in desserts. Now, I love peppery, spicy stuff, so daikon is one of my favorites. I love the wasabi, recent addition. Broccoli is kind of a staple. Arugula, again, peppery addition to salads. I'm actually hoping that I could steal some of these. I might be making some fresh spring rolls, Vietnamese spring rolls tomorrow. So I might pull a few of those out. There's endless possibilities where you can use them for. A lot of restaurants, which are slightly on hiatus at the moment, a forced hiatus due to what's going on in the world, use them for aesthetics more so than flavors. I love to use them for both. You know, we eat with our eyes. When we see something that's pretty, we're all more enticed to taste it. So this is a fabulous thing to try out if you have never grown microgreens, because the initial startup is relatively low. There's no soil. You literally can cut and eat directly from the trays. It's just water, the base trays, which also come in ceramic, and then the mats. And you can order the variety that's available, all except the, as I said, the arugula is not currently available, but this is for my stash. So if you have never tried growing microgreens at home, this is by far one of the easiest ways to do it with this system. It's simple. You know, they've broken down everything for you. The seeds are in these little rows, and what that does is it promotes airflow to cut down on any possible fungus growth, fungal growth, and it's really great. So they've really done their homework. I really enjoy them. I've been using their product for, I want to say, last couple of years, at least 2 years. And especially now, because now that I have this all on hand, I have a stash and I get a 3 mat monthly supply that I pick out the various, you could swap out the mats, or you can purchase an entire year if you want. I've given this as gifts to my mother, who is in Florida currently growing her own stash of microgreens. So yeah, I really love them, and I wanted to show my little variety that I like to have on hand. And yeah, it's nice to grow your own stuff, and it's way too early in the season for our garden to be kicking anything back. As a matter of fact, this morning we had snow. I don't understand. Mother Nature is confused. It's April 18th and snow was not on my schedule, but then tomorrow is supposed to be in the 60s, so who knew? But this can grow indoors, no problem, and you can produce a lovely amount. So the full mats are obviously take the entire length of the tray. I have mine cut in half for the variety, as I've mentioned before, but it gives you a really nice amount, and you could either leave them to grow in the trays until you're ready to harvest. I think you can go as long as like 14 days. Make sure that you have plenty of water in there so it doesn't evaporate, especially if you're in warmer climates or as the temperatures warm up outside. And or you could harvest them and store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator, wrapped in some paper towels to wick away the moisture. Ours never really last that long. We've never had them go bad because they've never hung around long enough. We found all sorts of ways to use them. Like I said, tomorrow I think I'm going to be making fresh spring rolls or summer rolls, Vietnamese summer rolls, and they go in pretty much everything. And if you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. I am really eager to be back because my camera is all charged up, and yes, I've been away for a little too long. So don't forget about thumbs up. It's free for you and helps me out, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.